funny about that.
All right, I am back. So, where we left off was that I want to redo the input for the tile map editor. And the issues I was running into is I just don't even, I had all these different modes early on, and I want to simplify this. So I think what I'm going to do right now is just strip this down so when you go into the tile map editor, you just have this one area where you can do your tiles, and we'll clean up all the logic around this, because right now it's not showing me the preview. When it goes here, it should show the player, and there's a bunch of other stuff that we need to be fixing, culminating with once we get all of this stuff back up and running, we will fix this code and we will figure out how to optimize this correctly. So let's see. Where we need to start is here. We have this thing called change mode, and actually there's a lot of stuff that I want to clean up. Let me save this right now. Let's just go top to bottom. Let's clean up all the logic around the entering the tile map editor, and then we can go back through and clean up what we need. So right here, this is the A selector. So let's rename this event, and we're going to call this setup selector XY position. Set the edit mode to false, fine. And we're going to rename this event to reset tile map ID. And these three functions are, in essence, what resets the tile map editor. From there, we attach a script to the start button, and the start button is responsible for handling switching into the edit mode. So what I just want to test here is that we display this menu, and then we call script toggle edit. And then we also add in a bunch of other things. So if we're going into this edit mode, so script toggle edit. All right, so set background palettes. So there's some stuff in here that I want to strip out. I was doing this effect, like I'll rerun it so you can sort of see. I was doing this effect where the background sort of fades down, but there's no real way to fade it back up because I'll show you what we're doing now. So I will leave the effect for right now, but when we go to edit, you'll see that the background fades down. I don't actually like the way that it's working. Maybe I'll just take that out for right now just to simplify things. And what we're going to do here is when we go back to play, it actually just refreshes the entire game. So I think we can just remove this stuff for right now. So edit mode. So we'll start from top to bottom. So rename event. We're going to be set edit mode to false. Right. And then from here, I was using another script before to copy this out. I wonder if I re-enable that, if that will fix some of the rename event. No, I don't want to rename event. I want to re-enable. And I think I was using it here to copy, submap, enable event. I'll just take a quick, I'm going to test this out real quickly just to see if this actually breaks things. All right, so what it wound up doing is that it removed all of the stuff. It'll remove all the UI from before. It's going to give us our level code, and that's going to work. Okay, I like the way that that's working. I'm going to leave that back in, but I don't think I need it here. So this is set up play mode. All right. What we're going to do here is, in this condition, we are testing if this is the edit mode, and we set the mode to, well, let's add a comment in here. Insert event before, comment, rename, set up play mode. So theoretically, if we're going back into play mode, we will set the edit mode to false. We can disable this, set background. We can disable this. We can disable this, deactivate a selector. I think we can disable this. I don't think we need to bother showing the player. I don't think we need to do this. And I think we need to activate the player. My theory is that because we're going to restart the level, it's just automatically going to restart all that stuff anyways. So let's remove stuff that we don't need. And I think this is, I'm finally at the point where I think I have enough in here that I can start like refining things. So here we go. We have our level code editor part, and then we go to play, and you see it restarts. And all right, so the good news is that we don't have to do any of this. Actually, I don't even think we need this. Disable this event. I don't think we even need this. So I think the variable automatically gets reset. The edit mode gets reset when we restart the map. All right, so we can draw our tiles, great. And then play, and yeah, all right, so cool. So we don't actually need any of this. All we need here is this else part. So I'm going to insert an event before. We're going to make a group, and I'm just going to use this as a temporary place to put all this stuff so that I can move it out of this area. All right, we're going to move this here. We are going to disable this event. And before I start editing anything else, let's just double check that this still works. Because now I can actually, I don't even need this. I don't even need to deal with this edit mode toggle. It just needs to set up the editor. So here we go. This sets up the editor. We're good to go. All right. So rename this to set up editor. And I want to rename this script to script enable editor. And we'll go back to where that's getting called before. Here we're going to set, I wonder what happens if we get rid of this edit mode. We may not even need it because technically all this other stuff is going to configure everything correctly. So let's start here. Let's go to edit. Yep, we don't need that. Edit mode. So that's one less thing. Script change mode. Actor script change mode. So let's see where script change mode and what this one does. If in paint mode, if system mode, edit mode. I wonder if we even need this anymore. See edit player mode. I don't know if we actually need this. Let's go back here to enable edit. I want to disable this real quick. And let's see if we even need that script. All right, edit. Yeah, we don't even need that script anymore. This is gonna be so much easier. And what I'm gonna do to switch between the level code versus the tile map editor, I am going to, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna use select, I think, and we're gonna change some things around later on, but that's fine. So this, setup edit mode. Oh, no, it's script change mode. Script change mode. I just want to see where it's being used. Code picker, player start, tile picker, enable edit. All right, there's a couple places where this is being used, but I don't know. I wonder what happens if we disable a lot of this stuff. Disable, disable, and disable. All right, so let's go here. Let's go into edit mode. All right, so what's happening now is that I disabled a lot of this stuff, which is fine because I'm gonna fix this. I think this is actually what I want now because it's gotten rid of all of this additional mode stuff. So let's go in and I'm gonna delete this. Let's save our thing. I'm gonna delete this script. Whoops, and delete the script. Delete script and all of its references. So now when we run this, we should wind up just being able to go straight into the editor, and I just need to move the cursor into the right position. And there we go. Okay, so one thing that we can do now is that when we set up the tile picker, when we set up the enable edit mode, a selector set position. So let's enable this, and we are going to set the position of this to, it's funny, we want to set it to the player's X. Well, why don't we do this? We're going to set it to, for right now, we'll set it along this row here. So this, I think, is 11, right? 10, 11. So 10 is where the player is. So we're going to set the Y to a number 10. And we're going to set this property to, actually, no. Actually, for right now, let's just set it to a number. We're going to set it right here in the center. And this is going to be 11. So now when we go into our tile map mode, we will automatically move the selector onto the screen. Right now, you can see that it's sort of off screen up here. So let's go into edit mode. All right, we need to move this down one screen, or one row. So we'll make this 11. The row above it is where the player is going to go, and I'm going to have to tweak that a little bit. Which I think I already know I know what I want to do to fix that. I just need to flip there's this red line that I create. I want to just flip that tile around. Oh, it gave me this weird, it gave me that error where it can't find the tools. All right, so let's edit. Here we go. Whoops, that's not good. How did that was a weird movement. Let me restart that for a second. Let me see what that was all about. All right. Oh, cool. I broke something. Since I'm not setting the edit mode, here, let me re-enable this again. What's happening is that when I try to exit it again, it doesn't know that we're in edit mode, so it's not showing me the menu to actually get out of the exit mode. And that's just handled by the scene. I don't know why it jumps like that to that position. Oh, I think I know why. We need to set the selector position afterwards. But now we can go back to play. Whoops. Play, and that'll restart the levels. So what we need to do here is let's rename this event to move selector to edit area. And what we're going to do here is we're going to insert an event before, and we're going to set actor or position. I think it's like set. There's a like save actor position, store actor position in variables. We're going to do the A selector, and we are going to handle selector X and selector Y. So what happened is that we move the selector into the edit area, but because I'm not updating the actual variables, or I'm not like changing it after I set it manually to 1111, it just, when you hit up, it just goes all the way like back up to the top. So now, nope. I don't know what is up with that. All right, we'll have to look into that one a little bit later. Maybe let's disable this and let's insert an event before set variable to value, and we're going to set selector X to 11, copy, paste event after. We're going to do selector Y, and then here we're going to set variable selector X, variable selector Y. Let's see if this fixes the issue where it like jumps back up to the top. If not, we'll go back and deal with that later. There's some cleanup that I need to do that's probably... Okay, there we go. That actually fixed the problem. I think what wound up happening is that we were setting the value here, but it hadn't actually moved, therefore the value never got set. So let's just delete this event, and we don't need to do this either. This draw edit is just for debugging. We can disable this for right now, and we're already doing this. Disable actions. The one thing I'm just trying to think about is, can we do this? Insert an event before. If we disable... Remove all actors from scene stack. We could do this. We could hide all or show all actors. Hold on 1 second. I will be right. Alright, I am back. Let me close my door, even though I'm going to be dying in here. It's a very hot day today in New York. Let's close this. Okay, so what I was trying to figure out was whether whoops, I don't want this on there. What I was trying to figure out is if I hide all these, excuse me, if I hide all these sprites and everything. Yeah, you can remove all the actors from a scene, but you can't delete them. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to do this manually, which is sort of annoying. But let's copy this event. Let's paste this event after. We're going to set this to actor E. What are these actor names? P. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. What we might wind up doing is I might add into each of the actors that if we go into edit mode, it just disables itself, which would make this a lot easier to deal with. Let's... Oops, I just lost my mouse now. Cool. Come on, give me my mouse back. Give me my mouse back. I have like a very weird setup. There we go. Nope, it just had it and gave me back. I'm like sharing my mouse between multiple computers, and I'm... for some reason, it likes to disconnect right in the middle of a stream. We'll give it one. There we go. Okay, I got it back. What we could do is on update, we can test to see if the edit mode is true. And if that's the case, we could remove all of the enemies. Or we can have them do it. Let's just do it here. Enemy, walker. Let's do this. Insert an event before. If variable, Boolean, let's see, if edit mode is true, deactivate actor. The reason why I'm doing this is because if we come here into this script enable edit, it's like there's like I don't want to have to add in actors for every single thing. So what we're going to do is we can deactivate the player, which we don't need to worry about. Let's disable this, disable this, disable this, and disable this. I'm just trying to remove all the actors that we need to pass in. So we'll test to see if this works, because what we're going to do is we'll run this, and then it should be that every time the enemy moves, if we go into edit mode, they should disappear. All right, and then we're just left with what we have. I'm going to restart this for a second, because what I want to do next is I want to delete. Come on, kill him. We go here, Great. We go to edit mode, and it's going to keep telling us game is over because technically the player is like right there. So what we need to do now is on this, we are going to add a on init on update, insert event before, if true. And what we're just going to test is that if edit mode is true, we are going to deactivate this actor, which is ourself. And actually, let me just copy this over here and put it into the other ones. It's a little bit cleaner than the way this was doing it. Let's paste the event before, and we're going to delete this event. We're setting it to itself, and we're going to disable the else. So let's rename this event test if edit mode was triggered. All right, we deactivate ourselves and we test for this. So I'm just going to recopy this and we'll just paste it back into the other one, and we'll just keep going back and forth until I actually get my stuff together. Trying not to curse. It's very hard as a New Yorker not to. Paste event before. We're going to delete this event, and there we go. We are now testing this. Okay, so we now are testing here and we're testing here, and let's just double check this one more time. I love refactoring. Like, it's probably one of my favorite things in programming. I love just stripping out all of the stuff that we don't need anymore. All right, so this is now working. I thought it would be a nice effect to keep the clouds moving while you do the level editing. I just thought that was like, I want there to be like some character to the game. I don't want it to be like this, like sort of like, hey, I just cobbled together a game for the sake of making a game. All right, so now we test. We don't need to worry about this. We can come back to this later. So we were at script enable edit. All right, now we can get rid of all this stuff, which we don't need anymore, and we're deleting this event. And I'm just trying to reduce the number of parameters that we're passing in. Let's rename this event set selector X to 0 or to 11, and rename set selector Y to 11. Just trying to fix my spelling mistake. Already getting tired. Which is not good because I have a lot of stuff to do today. So, all right, we now do this. We now have, we get rid of this. We can get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. All right, so now what we have is all of our logic for an script enable editor is now simplified. I just want to see something here. There's a wait. I have like this wait between these animating these things. I'm just going to disable this event and disable this event. The problem with the wait is that it actually it blocks the thread for the main thread from running. All right, it wasn't that much faster. because I'm not directly disabling these actors, there's like a slight 1 frame delay before they go away, but that's fine. It's not going to matter. Actually, that's running faster now this way. Okay, good. All right, I like this. I think we're good here for the script enable editor. And the code picker, I'm going to delete this. We haven't even built this yet, so let's just get rid of this. We have the paint tile player script player start. What is using this? Script player start. Set movement speed. Player mode, paint mode. Script tile, script player start. I don't even know what that does. I'm going to just disable this and see what happens. Actually, before we do that, let's just save. Business is working. Disable, 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 and disable. I think this is a old script that I set up for maybe switching to the player mode, where you can edit where the player starts. Thus why it's called player start. I don't think it has any bearing on anything. Nope. Okay. Good. Let's just delete this. And all of its references. All right. So now the script tile picker. This is the main logic for our editor. And one thing I'm going to do is if we press up, we have it if we press down. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to change this. I want to set an event before to a switch. And we're going to test for the P direction. And there are 4 different directions. And we want to look up constant right. We want to look up, so we're going to start with up, constant, right, constant down, and constant left. So here is all of our stuff for the right. And when we move to the right, we're going to put this here and this here. So I had set this up before I realized that there was actually a switch command versus all these like nasty conditions. It's sort of is frustrating because there's really no there's no if else. Oh hey, sorry, I'm missing on my chats. How are you? Is this your passion? Yeah, sure. I guess this is my passion. Is this a trick question? I like making games, that's for sure. Left, we're going to put this logic here. We can get rid of this, delete. I'm from New York. Where are you from? I feel like this is a blind date we're on right now. Let's delete this event. And if we press up, we want to copy all this stuff into here. All right. trying not to sneeze in your guys' ears. What are we doing here? We press up, we can delete. And in fact, what we could do is we could actually just assume that I'm going to move this here. And we're going to make this constant left. And we'll just assume that the last one is down. So let's do 3. We don't need this. I'm not going to ban you. I don't need some, I don't need art. I appreciate it. I do have a, I do have one right there. So, I appreciate the offer, but I do not need work or art at the moment. Let's do left. All right, you know what? I think I just realized that we can actually do for the switch, we can disable the else so that we just have these down, and then the last thing we need is to press down. All right, and there was one thing that I needed to fix. So when we press down, we check to see if we've gotten past the minimum point, and then we loop back up to the top. But when we do the right, we're not actually doing this. And I'm going to copy this event, and I'm just going to paste it here for right now. Let's just paste event after. Whoops, sorry. I want to paste event after. Where did that go? I need to figure out what I'm doing here. Set the position true. Oh, right. Okay, I remember. The set the position is the difference between making it, making the cursor move or making it like so. All right, normally, to sort of give some background into how this works. When we move the cursor and we're doing it tile by tile, we're actually animating it to the next tile so it has like a smooth transition. If we are holding down select, which I think I'm going to change to B, if we hold down select and then we try to move, it'll actually increment it by 10 and we just jump to that position, which is what set to position does. So let's just redo this logic here. So what we're going to look for on up is that if this has gone above, we want to set, where's our down? We're going to copy this event, paste before, and we'll put this here, and then we'll copy this event, and we will set this to paste event after. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to set this to the max Y tile ID, and then we're going to tell it to just jump to that position. What we're trying to do is we're creating a loop so that if you go down to the bottom of the screen, it'll come back up at the top, but we're trying to constrain it within this area that you're allowed to edit. So let me go into the editor. So now if we hit up, it shows up on the bottom. If we hit down, it shows up there. In the past, you were able to hit like up in order to go into another mode, but I'm just going to leave it like this. Oops, I didn't mean to open up all those. And you see, if I hold down Shift, when you jump horizontally, it goes in blocks of 5. But if you're doing it vertically, it only skips by 1. All right, so that now solves, we've now fixed the logic for moving the cursor around. Let's close this out. So then the next thing we do is we need to get the brush at position. I'm going to delete this one. this switch will react based on what the value is. I'm gonna just do 8 for right now, and I think we're gonna need to make some constants here, but long story short is that we're going to tweak. We now need to go back into this get brush at position, and we're going to use this. So we have our max X, Y, minimum P direction and set to position. Actually, I am out of water, so I'm going to take one quick break. I'll be right back. Let me get some more water, and then we will continue on with trying to get the logic cleaned up now inside of the editor. All right. Whoop, now my are all messed up. Hold on a second. Cool. I don't know what's going on with my audio. It's fine. I'll just go on mute. I don't know, something about changing scenes sometimes screws it up. Alright, whatever. I don't care. It still seems like it's going to be fine for you guys. Let me just double check that real quick. I can't hear. All right, let's try this again. Nope. All right, cool. The music's dead. Whatever. All right, let's try this again. All right, I think it's back to working normal. Let me go just double check that real quick, and then we will continue on. Oh, cool. And I've just been realizing this is how tired I am. I realize I've been on mute this entire time. So yeah, I think this stream is done. I will be back tomorrow at 9, and I will see you then.